Let's speak to dark horses. Oftentimes this happens at the World Cup. We saw Croatia, we saw Morocco making deep runs to the Final Four. Is there a dark horse that you're keeping your eye on ahead of this Euro?
Yeah, there's two actually. They're both at the same price. Austria and Switzerland. We touched on Austria a little bit already. They are in a tough group with France and the Netherlands, but we're getting a bit of a boosted price because of that. They've improved massively under Ralph Rangnick. He's done a really good job turning them around, making them actually relevant and just really difficult to beat. They are kind of what you want from a dark horse. Like, from a dark horse, you don't want a superstar to carry a team with rubbish in it. You kind of want just average players that are more than the sum of the parts when they come together.
Yeah.
The former, I think of Poland. Everyone likes the look of Poland because they've got Lewandowski, but everyone else around him's rubbish. So, previous tournaments when they've been expected to do stuff, ranked at 4th in the world, they've absolutely bombed out. I think Austria could be a little bit dangerous. They've got a nice balance to their 11 as well, where everybody knows their roles, everybody's happy to do what they're asked to do. Means that they're a team that are very dangerous, and they pushed Belgium all the way in qualifying. And for what you were saying about Belgium, their qualifying group actually ranked as the second toughest of all the Euro qualifying groups. So there's, the fact that they did perform so well, Austria, is a big plus in my book. And recently they've also beaten Italy and Germany in admittedly friendlies, but they've got a couple of scalps, which shows that they're very capable against the big boys. So they'd be a team I'd be looking at, plus 66.06. Big old number. But yeah, if you wanted to make a safer-ish play, you could maybe back Austria to make the semi-finals at plus 750. Obviously, the plus 6,606 is we actually need them to win it, which admittedly is a little bit unlikely, but I do think they're a team that can outrun their odds. I think the biggest price winner in Euros history was around this number when Greece won it in 2004, but ever since then we've not really had one of this big. But they definitely are a team to keep your eye on as potentially causing a few upsets along the way.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend betting any of these quote-unquote dark horses as a long shot outright. I just can't see any of these teams competing with the real top sides in this competition. But I do think there's some plays in terms of qualifying for a quarterfinal, and I'll list a couple. Switzerland is not one of them. They've been on a dreadful run of form. They draw every game. I think they're good enough to get out of the group because that's what they do. Every time they'll qualify out of the group and lose in the round of 16. This is the way that Switzerland works.
So who did they beat in the Euros last time? With the round of 16?
Understand, but that was the exception, not the rule. They've changed their manager to Yakin, and I just don't think that this team is anywhere near the same. Stout defensively, I have questions about the way that this team attacks. How are Croatia coming in as outrights at plus 1491? All this team does is win when it comes to tournament football. And because I'm taking Italy down a peg or two, I think Croatia can go on and at least challenge, even maybe potentially to go on and win the group, depending on how the fixtures play out. I know that France is an excellent side. I think Croatia just plays with absolutely no fear. I like to play Croatia to reach the quarterfinal at plus 190. That is a good number for me. This is the seventh successive European championship. But despite winning World Cup medals and Euro success, everyone just downplays this side. Dalic has this team up and running. I understand that certain players are playing in Saudi Arabia now. I understand, apparent weaknesses in this side. But since Euro 96, Croatia being a force at every tournament since that time. And I don't know why anyone would downplay their chances here. Jake, you're looking at me like you're from another planet.
Yeah, I think you're getting carried away with Croatia a little bit. I've got exactly the opposite kind of view on them. I think they're priced correctly, and I suspect they're quite a few people's dark horses at the prices, but their record at the Euros is horrendous. They've been knocked out. They've not made it out of the round of 16 since it expanded to 24 teams. And the reason for that is because they don't ever top their group, which means they get a tough opponent in the last 16 and they get knocked out. You look at the World Cup, they faced Denmark and Japan in the round of 16 of the World Cup runs, two teams they should beat. The Euros, they got beat by Portugal and Spain. That's the kind of calibre of team that you play when you don't win the group. And I don't expect them to win the group again here. in which case they probably draw Portugal in the next round and then they get eliminated. So
Well,
I'm definitely against Croatia in that market.
I believe second place. I think they can finish second place in their group. I think that's
second?
realistic.
Yeah. I think it's realistic as well.
Which would mean that they would then go on to play the second place team from Group A.
Yeah,
so whether it's Switzerland, whether it's Hungary, whether it's Scotland, that's a game they can win. I'm advocating my play to reach the quarterfinals. This team is, never mind this, we have recent context, the World Cup, where this team just resolute in the most difficult group in the tournament. It just works. They have balance. There's familiarity there. I'm backing Croatia. I'm also backing Ukraine as quarterfinalists at plus 275. I was hoping that they made their way through Path B, because being drawn into this group alongside Belgium, Romania, and Slovakia, they can go on and win this group. They have players who have played at the highest level in terms of the European club sides this year. They're galvanized by a nation that's obviously in an incredibly difficult geopolitical state right now. Sometimes these stories just come to fruition. This is a Ukrainian side who is a pain in the you-know-what to play against. They drew Germany in a friendly this week, and over the course of their qualifying campaign, they had a very difficult group as well. I think that, and we'll get into our group preview, I think that they can actually go on and win this group where you might find some real value. But at plus 275 as a quarterfinalist, that is absolutely a group I'm going to make. And this is their fourth consecutive Euros. Like, they're not strangers to this competition as well. So 10 different players scored goals over the course of qualifying. And Dovnik for Girona this year, I mean, he had scored 24 goals in all competitions. And that was tied for the most in European football. So they have a focal point, they have balance. I like that. And my other play, I do like Austria, because Rangnick has this team playing better than the sum of their parts. Leiner's playing like on the right side. He then tucks other players in. They press. They make things very difficult on their opponents. At plus 250 as a quarterfinalist, I'll back that as well. It's all depending on how they fare against the Netherlands in this group. I might scale that back if they end up finishing third place, but if they can somehow, some way finish runners up in that group, I think they have a chance to win a couple knockout games as well. So you and I both like Austria, and I think at plus 250 as a quarterfinalist, that's a realistic play that you can make on Pinnacle.
Tag me in for Switzerland then. Come on.
No, I am out. I am completely out.
Switzerland are a team that are being really overlooked this tournament. You look at the record in a group that doesn't stand out as being overly difficult, and you think, well, they've got no chance. Won 4, drawn 5, lost 1. But they were the third best performing team on underlying data of all the teams to qualify for the tournament. Only Portugal and France performed better. They created and scored plenty. They conceded next to nothing. It was actually poor goalkeeping that let them down. Jan Sommer conceded 9 goals from on-target chances, equating to 5.4 expected goals. So the main reason why they didn't win their group and have, a potentially kinder draw in terms of the group that they find themselves in the Euros is because of goalkeeping performance that was just so out of the ordinary. I mean, Jan Sommer is one of the most consistent operators in European football as a goalkeeper, or has been for years now. I mean, you only have to look at his season for Inter Milan. He conceded just 19 goals in Serie A with XG on target of 26. So he saved 7 goals more than would be expected, which kind of shows you what he is capable of. So all we need from Switzerland, for me anyway, is Sommer to just regress to his normal level, which even if he just concedes at the same rate as what we would be expected to, I think Switzerland will be very dangerous. Good balanced 11, a lot of experience with Xhaka, with Shah, with Shaqiri, with Sommer. A lot of exciting young talent. Zeki Amdouni is definitely one to keep an eye on. They got over the hump as well at the last Euros. I know it was a little bit, potentially fluky, but that had been something that they've been hammered over their head with for years. Switzerland not being able to get past the round of 16. They actually did it last time out, and they didn't just do it. They did it against the reigning world champions. I mean, if there's anything to give you confidence about another deep run, and let's not forget, they got to the quarterfinals. They lost on penalties to Spain. It wasn't like they were completely outclassed either. They took them all the way. So I think Switzerland...
At the World
Could
Cup,
be
they
very
were dogs
dangerous.
breakfast. 2
Yep.
wins from 9 heading into the summer. 4-5-1 in
Were
qualifying.
they
They
bad at
lost.
the World Cup?
They
Were they
couldn't
bad at
win
the World Cup?
They couldn't win a group
They
with
got
Romania.
out of the group. They got out of the group that people thought would be a little bit tricky with Serbia, who were red hot fancies for loads of people. They were in a group with Brazil. They were never expected to win that. And then they played Portugal in the last 16, a team that, are much better than them. So to get knocked out, I don't think they were dogs' breakfast. The manner of that defeat was poor, but that's why they've got a new manager in charge.
We'll see. I think they're fine across the back, head to head. But I don't know what the play is because I do think they'll get out of the group because they get out of the group every time.
Okay.
At the Euros.
So maybe we have a head to head when if Croatia plays Switzerland in the last 16.
Done.
Switzerland finished second. Croatia finished second. Let's have it.
Brilliant.